Hello, I'm Rishabh, and we'll be looking at the impact of tourism on Inuit people. Let's begin by looking at what we'll be learning throughout this presentation. First, we'll be learning what is tourism in the first place, then impact of tourism on indigenous people in general, who are the Inuit people, how does tourism affect the Inuit people, and finally, how can we solve the problem. So, what is tourism? Tourism is basically the movement of people from one place to another. And there exist two types of tourism, that are inbound tourism and outbound tourism. Inbound tourism is basically domestic tourism in which a person travels within national borders, whereas outbound tourism is international tourism where one person travels out of his or her home country or out of one country. We'll be mainly speaking about two types of tourism, which includes immigration and emigration. Immigration refers to a type of tourism in which one enters another country due to better facilities, and emigration, on the other hand, refers to the type of movement in which a person involuntarily leaves his or her home country due to some political, economical, social, or environmental crisis. An example of immigration would be, for example, in India, Indian entering an American or UK country because of better educational or medical facilities. And an example of emigration would be a person leaving his or her home country, for example, someone from Syria entering Algeria. Tourism not only has to be that a person needs to go and stay in that place, but it also could be to learn the culture of another country or simply for having pleasure, just to visit the country. For example, going to Spain, living at a resort by the seaside. Let's look at the impact of tourism on indigenous people in general. First of all, what is indigenous people? Indigenous people are basically people native to a place. For example, tribes. Tourism can affect these lives by worsening the environmental condition. For example, someone goes to Papua New Guinea and throws some wrappers or plastic bags, and this is simply worsening the environmental condition. And another way how they can affect the lives is by creating foreign domination. So these are two negative impacts how tourism can affect the indigenous people negatively. Although there are positive impacts as well, such as the coming of foreigners to the country could increase the income of the country. For example, 5 people or 10 people, a tourist group is coming to Spain. This increases the income of Spain, and now it also improves the infrastructure for the citizens of Spain, because to continue to support tourism, they must improve the infrastructure, and they can improve the infrastructure due to the increased income due to tourism. And since there is another industry now, that is tourism, there are more jobs that are created. For example, guides. Who are the Inuit? Because this presentation is based on these Inuit people, so we must understand who are the Inuit in the first place. The Inuit are a group of tribes living in the Arctic and subarctic regions. They are living mostly in Greenland, Canada, and Russia. The Inuit use one common language but have multiple variations of the same language because of the far distances between them. For example, in the far east of Russia, there are a group of Inuit people, and their language variation and even their accent can differ to that of the Inuit people living in Greenland or that of Canada or Alaska. The Inuit people very sadly face multiple challenges such as colonization, language erosion, and urbanization due to the regions they live in. Let's look at impacts of tourism on the Inuit people. We'll start with the negative impacts of tourism on the Inuit people. The only way to visit the Inuit or to have a tour by the Arctic is by sea. There are no airports or anything by the Arctic. And ships emit a lot of CO2, like a lot of CO2, and leave a big carbon footprint. And as well, this is the reason for a lot of oil spill in the Arctic Ocean. And what is even worse is that it is not possible to clean this oil spill. These oil mixed up with the Arctic Ocean, and this contaminates the ocean, leading to the death of the only source of food for the Inuits, which are the sea creatures, for example, raw fish. Climate change is another issue faced by all Inuit, and climate change results in the melting of ice lands they stay in, and this results in no homes for them to stay, and they are vulnerable. They are having severe housing issues due to this, and this is caused by these large ship vessels entering the Arctic Ocean, going through the Arctic Ocean and polluting through CO2. Although there are positive impacts as well of tourism on the Inuit people. Two of them include the entering of large vessels, lead to oil spills, which lead to the death of these creatures, but increased tourism would mean more people wanting to see the Arctic animals, because that's one of the major reasons why someone would like to visit the Arctic Ocean, and so it would lead to the protection of these species. Another positive impact is that much awareness is raised. For example, someone visits the Arctic and they can write a blog the next day that, okay, I visited the Arctic and I saw the Inuit people. And so they're protected both culturally and socially. Let's look at the solution to the negative issues we are seeing. So nowadays we know that big vessels are entering the Arctic Ocean, and in fact the biggest cruise ship in the world had entered the Arctic Ocean so that its people could have a tour and look at the Inuit people. Governments shouldn't allow visiting the land by huge cruise ships, and only electric boats should be allowed to solve this issue. Another major issue is that transportation of goods through cargo ships. Most cargo ships use the Arctic Ocean to move from Europe to Asia, for example. Most cargo ships use the Arctic Ocean, and these cargo ships travel at a very slow speed, and so they emit the CO2 in the Arctic region for a long time and lead to a lot of oil spill during the process. So, transportation to the Arctic Ocean should be banned as well, and visitors should be, of course, encouraged to create awareness about the Inuit people. For example, what they just saw. Okay, these are the Inuit people, the animals, and this would therefore increase the amount of people coming to the country, and more tourists coming to the country, and create more income, and this could lead maybe to better facilities. Thank you for watching this presentation. Have a great day.